All right, that looks good. All right, cool. Just gonna give it about a minute or so, and then get into it. I'm sure people will be coming in slowly but surely. I'm prepared today. Just, doing things a little differently. I got my laptop, so I get to see everybody's comments. Hey, Official, Amanda. So if you guys see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at the comments on my laptop. I decided to upgrade a bit. All right. Thank you, honey. Same to you. I hope you had an amazing holiday. Well, Thanksgiving. Holidays aren't over yet. Still got Christmas, then New Year, and then though it's not a holiday, my birthday coming up. I'll be the big 39. Then I got a whole year until I hit 40. Hi, Ken. Okay, guys. I know it's a little soon to wear the Christmas, it's so comfortable. So probably going to see me wearing a lot of different stuff. Probably not meant, to be worn just yet, but, I love the holidays. Fall, winter, holidays, love it. Love it. And I can't, if it were years ago, I probably would have been like, oh, I can't stand the holidays. Because, we've all been there, right, guys? We've all been there. We've been through it. So when you hit the holidays, after going through the motions of what you've gone through, the holidays can seem pretty, pretty sucky. But if you learn how to, do like I did and just really get along with your own company and really enjoy it and embrace it and love it, it doesn't faze you as much. David, thank you. You know what? I've been asked that before too. I think, I'm Puerto Rican, but Hispanics do have European. We have European in our blood too. I don't know, maybe, I might, if I do the ancestry DNA testing thing, I just probably might find more, more of that European in me, above everything else. So, and the crazy thing is I've never really, I never hung around Italians. I mean, my friend Amanda, she's Italian, but I guess it's Italians and Latinos. We have a lot in common. We really have a lot in common. It's crazy. It's funny, but thank you. I still consider it a compliment. So guys, we're gonna get into some stuff today. We're gonna talk about some stuff today, and I'm gonna probably do it just a little bit differently as well, because there were some things that I wanted to talk about pertaining to the dark triad, okay, of narcissism and personality disorders. And thank you, David. And we're gonna get into a few things. So what time is it? 8:04. All right, so we're gonna timestamp it. I'll timestamp it now, so that way anyone who wasn't able to make it to the live or anyone who's catching it on the stream can catch it from this point on. So I welcome each and every one of you. I'm happy to see all of you. And for those who couldn't make it, I still love you anyway. Just, when you do catch it on the stream, hit me with a comment. Let me know. So that way, hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. So I know you made it. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you guys, were just enjoying your holiday and peace and festivities and family and love and all that good stuff. All right. You all well deserve it. Guys, so I normally have a good way to start things off, but I actually was writing a few things down, and I just wanted to touch a few points on, we're coming to a closing of the year, so I wanted to touch a few points because when I come to, to the end of the year, starting 2022, I want to start doing some new things, some different things. I want to start implementing, different techniques and just, the different things that we can do to continuously move forward and do it in a very effective way. I've been working on a lot of different things, including my book. I do have two that I'm working on. One is a compilation, a series of different survivors of different stories of different people who've gone through different experiences. And another book is a book for Hi Ty. How are you, sweetheart? Another book is about my life. It's about the different traumas, the different stages, the different things that I've gone through. And it's really going to be it's kind of like a tell-all, but it's really just to help people understand, different people understand that their experiences, everyone goes through different experiences, everybody has different encounters, but the level of trauma is pretty much, it's a spectrum. Trauma is a spectrum as well, so depending on the different types of trauma you've gone through, we all land on that spectrum. Okay, we've all landed on that spectrum. So just bear in mind, the book would be very, very triggersome. Okay, I would put that forewarning. I think I would put that on the title of the book, trigger warning, because it is pretty much, it's going to go into details about a lot of different things, personal things, and very, very deep rooted things that I have come to terms with, that I have been working on. And I'm happy to say that, I'm using myself to try to help other people. I'm using my life, my experiences, and I'm talking about different types of trauma. I'm talking about different aspects of my life, and I'm hoping that it would be an inspiration for, for anyone who's going through emotions, anyone who's been through, what they have gone through. I'm hoping it will definitely would help them out. So I started writing a little list of things that I wanted to touch, with regards to the different things that, people of this nature, and by nature, I mean narcissistic nature, sociopathic nature, psychopathic nature. Okay. One of the things I wanted to touch was misdiagnosis. Now, the reason I wanted to touch this was because narcissism is often misdiagnosed. Okay. And some of the people, again, guys, I'm not taking away the fact that you guys been through what you've been through. Okay. And I'm not taking away, I'm not going to invalidate anyone because what you went through. You were there when it happened. And at the end of the day, you're seeing yourself through this. But often narcissism is misdiagnosed. You could have been dealing with someone, which is why I say, even though narcissists, they won't go to therapy because they don't feel that anything is wrong with them. They don't feel they don't have to improve anything. They don't have to do anything to evolve. If, for argument's sake, the person or the people you were dealing with were to be diagnosed or were to be examined by a professional, what we can see, because people can be narcissistic, right? People have the traits, people can carry these traits, and people can do, a lot of what a narcissist generally does. And one person actually had mentioned, it was, I think, on my TikTok, where he said, this whole blaming it on the narcissist and this whole narcissism thing is just it's getting kind of old. And the fact of the matter is that it's not. Hi, Cicely. Butch. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. But it's not getting old. Okay. It's actually just, it's being cracked open even wider, and more people are talking about it. I remember, before it was just, it was domestic violence. It was, physical abuse. People couldn't come forward and speak on physical abuse. They couldn't come forward and speak on sexual abuse. They couldn't come forward on these things because, you know, it was just that fear that held them back. And think about it, guys. We didn't have the technology that we have now. We didn't have that back then. We didn't have it back in the 80s. We didn't have it back in the beginning of the 90s. So the only one who really knew about the abuse, who knew about, what was actually going on, was, of course, the victim, the abuser, possibly some family members, but they're, therapists, if they went to therapy, if they went to therapy. But now that we have so many different outlets, we can actually expose so much more. So, I had a choice to either use social media to expose my ass or to expose something that's going to make a difference. Okay. And I'm not, listen, no shade on people who expose their asses and do what they do. That's their business. Not my forte, not personally for me, but I had the opportunity to just really open up and really try to help people to understand what it is they've gone through and understand that it wasn't their fault that they've gone through it. But hold on one second, guys. But I wanted to, point out that misdiagnosis is actually one of the common things when it comes to narcissism. Someone who's a narcissist can be misdiagnosed for someone who's bipolar. Someone who is bipolar can be misdiagnosed as a narc. Someone who is borderline, someone who has, antisocial personality disorder, it does fall under the same cluster of narcissism. But I would say that probably the most common, not the most common, well, actually it is the most common, but the biggest personality disorder that you may confuse with narcissism is histrionic personality disorder. And people who are histrionic are the people who constantly need and crave validation and attention. And it's pretty much it's that form of narcissism. If I had to think about it, if you think about borderline, if you think about narcissism, if you think about histrionic, it does have that thin line of narcissism runs through all of them, but they all fall under the same cluster. And it's pretty much, trying to gain something out of a situation, or to gain something out of people, out of external sources that we can't create for ourselves. So someone who's a borderline constantly has low self-esteem, constantly needs to be reassured, needs validation. Someone who's histrionic, same thing. They constantly need the attention. They constantly, I don't know why I'm stuttering, constantly need the validation. So when it boils down to narcissism, when people ask, well, how do I know that this person is a narcissist? They have to carry certain traits. They have to carry, and there are so many different, places where you can learn the different traits that make up a narcissist. I've done a lot of videos on them as well. So anyone who's new to the channel, definitely check them out. But they do have to carry a large amount of characteristics to be characterized as a narcissist. But all in all, you more than likely, if you didn't deal with a full-fledged, full-blown narcissist, you dealt with someone who does suffer narcissistic behaviors, narcissistic traits. You may have also dealt with someone who is also a victim of narcissism. And I've said this in my TikTok live last week. Narcissists are unhealed victims. Okay. They're unhealed victims. These are people who have endured abuse, never did the work, never got the help that they needed, never, did anything. And what they did was, instead of releasing that trauma and working on it and getting help for it, they just pretty much internalized it and, just related more to the abuser. And they pretty much walk. That's like their guide. they walk with the abuse as their, you know, their shades, their contacts, their glasses, whatever you want to call it. They walk with that as their guide. So it pretty much, the trauma leads them throughout their life. So just be careful with it, guys. You know, people can be very narcissistic. That's society in a whole, you know, they can be very narcissistic, but just remember that regardless of it, you know, listen, toxic is toxic, okay? And your health, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, that all comes first. Butch, I might have to start a meeting for bad Thanksgiving experiences. I even gave it to a homeless, and they asked me what I do to you, trying to be funny because this tastes. Oh, Lord. At least you tried, Butch. You tried. That's what counts. You know what? It's you know, a lot of it doesn't have to be sometimes the holidays can be kind of sucky for people. But you know, you just got to try to look at the more positive sides of things. Look at the positive aspects of things. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anyone. Hi, G. So now, one of the things I also wanted to touch on were the activities, the things that they do. Okay. And I just find it to be important to go over it because sometimes, especially now around the holidays, especially, you know, if you were kind of like stuck in between, or you're still like going through the motions, you're still feeling I don't want to say emotionally bound, but you're still feeling some type of way. For people who didn't get clarity, I'm going to tell you right now, for anyone who did not get clarity but got a really, you know, a bad discard without the proper clarity and the proper, you know, accountability that should have been taken. I bring these things up because it's not to, you know, it's not to trigger you, but it's to remind you of why you're staying no contact, why you need to stay no contact, and why, if you allow them back in your life, it will be more detrimental. Okay, it'll be extremely detrimental. Believe it or not, guys, if or when a narcissist decides to hoover you, if they try to, you know, like lure you back in, and if you fall for it and you decide to give them another chance, believe it or not, they look at you with so little regard. Okay, very little regard. And by that, it's like almost like a form of disgust. Believe that or not. Okay. And the reason is because, which is why I tell people, you know, if you value yourself and you show them you value yourself, then, you know, stand your ground. Because when they come to hoover you, they don't hoover you because they've changed, because they want to be, you know, they want things to be different. They want to be genuine and sincere with you, especially if they didn't do anything. They didn't do any work. They didn't get any help. They didn't do anything to change their behaviors. When they come to hoover you, it's pretty much to prove to themselves that I still have what it takes to bring you back in. Okay, that's all it is. It's to prove to themselves that I still have what it takes to make you feel good, which is what puts you on the pedestal and then tear you back down. Okay, these people are very callous in their behaviors. People tend to focus on the good times. They tend to focus on, you know, like I said, around this time of year too, because, you know, if you spend holidays with them, if you spend birthdays with them, anniversaries, what have you, they tend to focus on the times you spent together, instead of really putting the focus on none of that is relevant, because how things ended was who you really are. Okay. this is why it makes it hard for people to really properly move on and really properly, understand that I wish I could say that it was real, because it was real for you, but it was not real for them. It was simply, and don't get mad at me for saying it this way, but it was simply them passing time. Okay? This was them passing the time. This was them just pretty much in the moment. If you notice during the discard, if you see that they're going on to new supply, and you see that they're, because everything for a narcissist is in the moment. It's like while it's going on right now, they live in the moment. They live for whatever makes them feel good in the moment. But if you notice, it's not them making themselves feel good. It's other people making them feel good. It's other people gassing them up, because that's pretty much what it is. When you stroke someone's ego, you're gassing them up. Okay? There's a difference between validating someone and stroking someone's ego. So when you're stroking someone's ego, you're gassing them up. And even if that's the case, that is what's providing for them at that moment. So if they're feeling good, looking good, doing whatever it is they do, it's all short-lived. It's short-lived. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but we live in a generation, especially now, with the society, and hi Kara, we live in a generation where some of us live kind of like, we have old-fashioned way of thinking. We have, just how we handle our relationships are completely different. So it's like, for example, I saw a post, of I forgot who it was. Was it I think Stephen Curry? I think it was it Stephen Curry's parents? It was some famous person's parents. They announced they were getting a divorce. They were married together for 27 years, and they announced that they were getting a divorce. And there was someone who had put up these tweets that this guy was putting up on Twitter. And he was telling him, he's like trying to reach out to the, because they're older people. Like the man's like 60 something years old. And he's trying to tell him, listen, what you want is not out here. You need to go back home and make your marriage work. 27 years, and now all of a sudden you're just trying to give up. And it goes to show the kind of society that we live in now. Like, think about it. If you had an old-fashioned way of your traditional way of living and having it was, right? Okay. I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to, but if you have a traditional way of doing things, and that person you were dealing with, they're like, they weren't taught what they weren't taught what you were taught. They weren't taught how to, and clearly, because we all make our own choices. We all decide if we want to follow the path of, the toxic people who raised us, or if we want to just go in our own direction. They clearly did not make that choice. Well, they didn't make the choice to go the path that you chose to go. They made the choice to be on the path that the abusers were on. They made a choice to pretty much just sulk and sit and marinate, which is why I tell you guys, don't stay in that. Okay? You can be mad, you can be pissed off, you can feel hurt. That's perfectly normal. It's human. But don't marinate in that, because then you become bitter, and you just don't want any part of life anymore. You just don't want to do it anymore. Okay? But they end up becoming like that. So when all of this happens during the discard, and they're going into that pool of people, because that pool of people are the people in society. That pool of people are the kind of people that have now, portrayed to the world that this is what dating is like. Your traditional loving, your traditional genuineness, your ability to love them unconditionally, it starts to look appealing again. Because now that all of that is short-lived, it's like, okay, let's say you got discarded and you're working on your healing, and like 2 months later they decide, oh, I'm gonna hit this person up. Let me see what they're doing and what. That's because that was short-lived. There was nothing. That was nothing. They probably either met someone who would not do nearly half of what it was that you did, or they met someone who's way worse than them. So you got to think about it that way too. If they decide to come and hoover you back in, regardless of what happened, regardless of what happened, they made you an option. They made you an option. They not only decided to discard you for whatever those options were, okay, but those options weren't shit. And they decide to come and tell you, oh, I made a mistake. I love you. You know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. None of it is genuine. None of it's sincere. If they really try to push, I'm going to tell you, some of them deserve Emmys and awards because they can really pull off faking empathy. But oftentimes you'll have the ones that come back like, look, you know what? We're still stuck on this. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. It happened. They won't take any accountability. Okay, they will not take any accountability for what they did. If they're desperate, if they are desperate, meaning they're desperate for your supply, they're desperate for you to just let them back in. And for whatever reason that is, okay, it could be the fact that they need a place to stay, it could be the fact that they need money and they need to, it could be for sex, it could be for anything. If they are desperate, yes, they will try to charm you. They will try to seem sincere. They will try to seem genuine and apologetic. But the reality of it is that it all comes with an agenda. Okay. I don't listen. I can't tell you guys what to do on this, and forgiveness is always key no matter what you decide to do. But the mere fact that someone would make me an option after everything that I contributed and everything I invested into a relationship and into that individual, the mere fact that they would decide to say, well, what you give me is good, but that looks better. It just looks so much better over here. It looks so much more fun because you probably wanted a commitment. You probably wanted to settle down. You probably wanted to have, a home and a family and just be able to do these things. And these types of people, they don't know how to sustain relationships. They don't know how to sustain commitments. They don't know how to properly, given the fact that during the relationship, things were kind of, we're going rocky anyway. It just serves, the discard was just pretty much confirmation. Okay. And oftentimes we ignore those red flags. And when we hit the discard, it's like we're blinded, we're blindsided because it's like, oh my God, I didn't see it coming. When the reality was, it was in front of us. It was in plain sight, but we refused to see it. But, oh, yeah, like I was saying, though, the gentleman was tweeting and he was like, listen, go back. Just go back. Don't come out here. Okay. Listen, what you want, what you're looking for, trust and believe. Because the guy was keeping it 100. He's like, listen, you're going to be 60 something years old, trying to go to clubs, trying to pick up these young 21, 22-year-olds because, you got people who go through their little midlife crisis and they think, oh, okay, something, this looks exciting. This looks good. This looks appealing. This is why I tell people, if you have relationships, guys, please do not expose it. Don't expose it to anybody. Okay, please do not expose your relationship. Keep it as private as you can. Keep it intimate as far as with people you trust, people you know. Keep it intimate, but overexposure creates so much drama and it opens up so many doors because you have people out there who find people who are taken, people who are married, people who are involved. They find these people intriguing. And these are people who are just shady people. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's not just the people, because if your partner is clearly opening the door for them to peek in and see what's going on in your home, then you need to put that on your partner as well. Cicely, I got a call from a random number. No one said anything, but I can hear the TV in the background. I can't prove it was her, but I have a feeling it was her. It probably was. Usually, if they still have your phone number, if they're using the same number that you know, they probably figure you won't pick up the phone. You probably won't answer them. But if they call you either from a random number, you can get a fake number, guys. Everybody can do it, you know. Or if they call you from a private number, and if there's that chance that you would pick up, then, you know, it's in my opinion, it's like, why go through all this trouble to, and I didn't understand that. Why go through all this trouble to do what you do in a discard and then decide that you want to contact the person? You want to contact the person again. I didn't understand it then. I understand it now. I understand it now. And it just, to me, it was like, my thing was, and I don't know if you guys experienced it. My thing was when the rage, when everything, you know, everything happens, the disrespect, the disregard, everything happens. It's when they act like nothing happened. Like they'll give it a few days and nothing, it's like nothing happened. And you're sitting there like, are you serious right now? It's like, hey, how are you? Like if nothing happened. Like if that day, that night, that morning, whatever, like it never happened. And it's just like, that's a part of, to listen, that's a tactic to try to make you think that you're the one going crazy. And if you bring it up, or if you bring something, you know, bring something to light, something negative that reflects, you know, reflects negatively on them, automatically you're trying to start something. You're trying to start an argument. You're trying to, you know, you're trying to basically bring up stuff to make them angry. Okay. If you maybe notice that too during your relationships, when you try to communicate with them, you try to bring things up to them. Or if you felt that an apology was necessary for a situation, and you know, you listen, some of us demand apologies. Some of us are like, listen, I'm not saying anything or doing anything until you apologize to me. And they look at it as, you're just too damn sensitive. You can't, like, you can't take the L on, you know, on it. I've taken many L's. I do not take disrespect. I will not take it. Okay. I took enough of it. I took enough of it. So for someone to disrespect me and do all of that craziness, and then a few days later say, hey, how are you? How's it going? Are you serious? It's trying to make you passive aggressive. So it's trying to basically make you like, okay, this person just went ballistic on me the other day, and today it's something totally different. And I've done it. I don't know about you guys. I've done it. I try to kind of be passive aggressive. Like, okay, so that didn't happen. It did happen, but I guess I have to act like that didn't happen because I don't want this person to be reactive and get upset with me. I don't want them to argue. I mean, I'm trying to make things work with this person. This lets them know that they can do and say as they please. And because you are not trying to tip the boat over, you are trying to keep them in your life, you're not trying to push them away. It kind of gives them that outlet of, I can say and do what I want and disrespect you and hurt you and be cruel to you. And I could pretend like it didn't happen and you'll go along with it because you want me to be in your life. Man, no. No, 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 no. Yeah. Yeah, Cicely. And the thing about that is they will bring up to you things they don't like, things they don't appreciate, things that they don't, you know, if it's not something that is giving to them, whether it be emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever, you know, or if you're slacking, you know, if you're slacking. And in some cases, it just could be, it could be anything. One, they won't properly communicate it with you. They won't sit down and say, hey, hun, let's just sit down and have a talk. No, they won't do that. Okay. Talking with them to get something direct from them is like pulling teeth. You can't get it directly from them. But if they only know like toxicity, they know fighting, they know arguing, they know drama, they know that's what they know. But of course, you're in a no-win situation because if you're arguing and you're fighting with them, now you're overly dramatic. Now you're argumentative. Now you constantly want to make a big deal out of things. You're in a no-win situation dealing with people like this. A no-win situation. Okay? You're stuck between a rock and a hard place with spikes. So either way you look at it, it's a no-win situation. And the thing about it is, and again, guys, because when you're dealing with people who are used to toxicity in their life, used to being scapegoated. I mean, I don't know what types you dealt with. I don't know if you dealt with the scapegoats or if you dealt with the golden child type narcissists. But in most cases, when you've dealt with these types of people, everything is it's that double standard. Everything is one-sided. You are not going to have a fair relationship. It's not going to be fair, guys. It will never be fair. They don't believe in compromise. They don't believe in understanding your feelings because their thing is, I don't know about emotions. I don't know about feelings. This is what I know. There will never be a 50-50 type of relationship. It will never be that way. Okay? No matter how much you try to steer it in that direction, they're going to just take over the wheel and bring it right back to where it was. You won't ever have a fair chance. You're dealing with people who are just unhealed. They're unhealed. Well, from whatever type of trauma they've gone through in their own lives, they're unhealed people. And it's not your job to fix them. It really isn't. You can heal someone without really having to sacrifice yourself. Did you know that? You can actually heal someone. You can teach someone without having to sacrifice yourself, without having to sacrifice your respect, your dignity, okay, your morality. You can help heal someone. And sometimes it has to be from a distance. Sometimes it means just not being in that person's life. Let them see what they lost. Let them see that since this is how you want to act, this is who you are, this is what you want to do. All right, cool. It hurts. I'm going through the motions. I got to heal from this. But when I do, and I do not grant you any kind of access in my life, I'm going to give everything that I gave to you, everything I've done in this relationship with you, everything I tried to build with you, I'm going to build that with someone else. Okay? I'm going to build that with someone else. And when I build that with someone else, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch. You're going to watch. Because at the end, they went through all this trouble. They went through all this trouble trying to make you jealous, trying to make you angry, trying to make you feel like, you're beneath them. And this is projection. And I read somewhere once you learn that it's just people's projection, it doesn't faze you anymore. Okay? How they treated you was projection. That's all it was. It wasn't because they really thought or felt that way about you. That's how they feel about themselves. Okay? So if you have someone who feels shitty about themselves and they're low vibrational and they're just so, they're down in the dumps, and you are a high vibrational being, you're just a happy-go-lucky person, let's say you get good luck all the time. Someone who's miserable, misery loves company. Someone who's miserable, they want you to be on that level with them. Instead of doing what they need to do to bring themselves up there, they're going to try to just drag you down. And if you notice, each and every time you try to do something or you try to contribute, compromise, or what have you, it just seemed like it was never enough. It seemed like it wasn't enough. Meantime, you were putting in probably 85 to 90% of that relationship. you were doing the majority of the work, and they had the audacity to sit there and accept your 85, 90%, but make you believe that you were only contributing 20%. That's illogical. It's illogical. Their sense of self-importance, especially if they're getting validation externally, they don't feel important. They're not important, okay? It's not about them making themselves feel important. They rely on the external validation, the external ego stroking to build up that sense of self-importance, okay? If you had someone who's a narcissist who spent their entire life being scapegoated, okay, meaning being put down, constantly being, blamed and abused, for all the problems and everything that was going on, and they just felt like pure and utter crap, okay? And you have external people making them feel good. Now, mind you, just like I said, misery loves company, right? But how does someone miserable have so many people in their circle, have so many people who surround them, who are friends with them, who are just, praising them, high praising them and validating them and doing whatever? How it's like oil and water, right? It doesn't mix. That's where the false mask comes in. Okay. That's where the false mask. This is where people get things confused. They sit there thinking, well, this person is a, narcissist or narcissistic or whatever. They're happy, they're partying, they're enjoying themselves, they're doing this, they're doing that. That's not happiness. That is external validation. They have other people. These are the kind of people that are just, they need everybody on the outside to make them feel a certain kind of way because they can't do it for themselves. So when you were discarded, when you were cheated on, when you were left, whatever the case may be, they probably, I don't know everybody's situation, but I'm pretty sure some of them probably blamed you in so many words, because they might not have just said it straight out, but they probably blamed you for the fact that they got bored, or the fact that, it's dying out. It's not going anywhere. And you're sitting there wondering, what can I do to make it better? Or what can I do better to better myself for this, for you? There's nothing you can do. That's on them. That is on them. I learned that no matter how much I contributed in a relationship, no matter how much I have given my all in a situation, if someone is miserable within themselves, it's never going to be enough. Because then what happens? They get used to it, then boom, okay, what's next? And now I got to work 10 times harder to figure out the next hurdle to get over. Meantime, you're just sitting there like, okay, no, I for that, I'll be alone. For that, you might as well be alone. If you're going to fulfill somebody, fulfill yourself. Because if you're with someone like that, clearly that sorry about that, guys. I have neighbors who have children that love to stomp on the floor. Yeah, Stella, it's and the thing of it is they may not tell you directly. They may not say it out loud. Oh, well, some of them do. Some of them have the balls to do it. They'll just sit there and be like, well, they'll deflect and say, well, if you just don't do it for me anymore, or you let yourself go, or whatever the case, any kind of thing. They may say anything. The fact of the matter is that these people already know that it's not going to last very long. Okay, it's not going to last very long, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. If you start noticing different behaviors with these people, and by different behaviors, I mean, for example, jealousy. They're notoriously jealous. They're notoriously jealous people. Your attention has to be on them, has to constantly be on them, consistently be on them. Okay. And keep this in mind, guys, that this goes with codependence as well. I told you, codependence and narcissists, they have the same type of trauma. Okay. They have the same type of need, but they go about it differently. Okay. And for different reasons. Okay. But the jealousy is pretty much where, you're their supply. They don't want to share you with anyone. Okay. You don't give anyone else attention. You don't put any kind of focus. You don't put yourself out there, but they can. They can. They can go out there. They could do whatever. If you do something, if you say something that they think may threaten the supply that you give them, they're going to tell you about it. They may lash out. They may do whatever. And if you compromise, if you're pretty much bending over backwards for them, then that means, okay, I got the control. So every time, once you give in to a narcissist temper tantrum, or once you give in to them and their need to be in control, their need to have something their way, you just done set yourself up. Because now they know, okay, I said something, but see how you took it as I did something that offended them, and I'm going to compromise. That's what you took it as. They took it as you did something that made me jealous, and now since I'm already put in a position that I don't want to be in, now I'm going to tell you what to do so you can basically submit to what it is that I want. Okay? That's how it is. What you do and how you feel is completely different from what they do and how they feel. Completely different. It's total opposite from each other. So with you giving in and you compromising, you were pretty much surrendering. And that let them know. So now all I have to do is act a certain type of way or be a certain type of way, because, they may give you the silent treatment. If you say or do something and you're trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with you, why are you giving me the silent treatment? Why are you acting like this? Why are you acting like that? It's because they want you to submit. They want you to submit to whatever request, whatever it is they want you to submit. Clearly, if you try to get them to compromise, you're trying to tell them what to do. You're trying to control them. You're trying to, you're trying to own them, whatever they can. It's nonsense. It really, really is nonsense. Oh, I gotta hit my aunt back up. Erica, it can last a long time. 40 years is a good deal of time. That being controlled. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the crazy part about it is that, the longer it is, the more tighter the grip is, the trauma grip. It gets tighter and tighter. Okay. It's like, and it was actually something that I wanted to talk about. It's kind of like being bound. You're being bound to someone. Okay. It's a trauma bond, clearly, because it's, inner trauma. So trauma that connects with another person's trauma, which is pretty much synonymous to, two broken people coming together. Okay. When two broken people come together, they see something in each other that connects them. Okay. So if you have someone who is, an empath or a codependent or what have you, and you have someone who's a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, there is that line of trauma. Their trauma connects with yours. And that's what keeps you bound. The difference of it is that the person the bad one, they know, they know, they know already what's going to happen. They know how things are going to pan out. They know all of these things. You you didn't know. You didn't know. And you felt, that's why part of you felt like you were connected with that person. You felt like, yeah, maybe this is my soulmate. It's just, it might have been a soulmate, but it might have been one that's only here to teach you something, not someone who's supposed to be in your life forever. Okay. You know, people are gonna either meant to be in your life for a season or a lifetime. It all depends on how long you're trying to keep them there. Okay. And if you notice you've gone through many cycles, meaning many relationships with the same type of people, okay, it's kind of like saying you have a type, right? Someone dates different people, but they're all different people, but they all kind of have a certain type of look, and they all almost look like each other. It's the same thing in the personalities. So you may have a type. Maybe your type is a narcissistic type because, maybe one of your, in growing up, one of your parents was emotionally detached, and they emotionally detached people spend a lot of their time running. They run from commitment, they run from relationships, they run from intimacy. They fear it. They fear it. And if you've had a parent who was detached, you had a parent who abandoned you, or, was living with you, but very passive aggressive, very detached emotionally, then you're going to probably spend a lot of your life trying to find that type of connection that you crave, that you craved from that parent in your relationships. Okay. And it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. And if and of course, that's the type of person who does situations like that. These are the type of people who are codependent, the type of people who are, who have empathy, have emotions, are sensitive type of people. Because you have people who are raised by emotionally detached people, by abusive parents. You have people who are raised by these people, but they're not like them. Not every, and this is why I say not every single person who is abused becomes an abuser, which that whole I was abused as a child, that's why I do it, is bullshit. Because unless every single person who's ever been abused in their life become an abuser, then that has a little bit more validity to it. But no, because of the fact that people like us exist, people who have gone through the motions, people who have gone through trauma, yet we don't project that those abusive behaviors onto other people. That's what separates us from these people who have chosen to become like their abusers. So that whole I was abused, and you know I have problems because of my abuse, it's not an excuse. It is not an excuse. Hold on one second. Hi Dip, how are you? All right, Ty, have a good night, hun. Um yeah, now I've been no contact for 20 months and don't know if it's going to be 40 years to get over the ordeal. You know, I'm glad, hun. I'm glad, Dip. That's good to hear. I'm doing good. Doing good. Hanging in there. Can, I could truthfully tell you it can, or it can take 10. It could take 5 months. It can take a year, you know. it basically depends on you. Your healing depends on you, and it depends on the work that you're doing. Okay. And by the work, I mean the help that you're getting. You know, if you are getting professional help, if you have the right support group, you know, to help you through it. Healing depends on the individual. Okay. It depends on the individual. Forgiveness depends on the individual. You know, I'm guessing as of right now, which is not a bad thing. You know, if it takes time to forgive, it takes time to forgive. Listen, I'll be completely 1000% honest with you. I have not fully forgiven the person. I have not fully forgiven the person, but I am not living in it. I'm not sulking in it. I'm not drenching myself in it. Okay. It took me approximately 2 years to heal. Okay. 2 years to really heal. And right now, I'm currently working on other things as far as other traumas are concerned. But, you know, it depends on you. It really depends on you. And if, as long as you're doing what you need to do to help you progress along the way, that's what kind of helps speed it up a little bit. It helps speed it up a little bit. Not by too much, but it does help in understanding that what you experienced, whatever she had done that was detrimental to your relationship, that was detrimental to your health, your mental health, emotional, spiritual, physical, you know, that was all on her. And one of the things that a lot of victims have a hard time doing is not internalizing it, not taking it personally. I had a hard time doing that. I really had a hard time, you know, not taking it personally. I really, really did. But then once I realized that all of this that was happening, all of this that was being done had nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. Okay. It all was with that person. Okay. Their problems, their trauma, their issues, their, you know, their everything that was going on in the relationship, that was all them. Because I did nothing to warrant that behavior. I did nothing to you know to be treated that way. And even after everything was said and done, I walked away gracefully. It's hard to walk away from a situation that you want so much to just rip someone a new asshole. It's hard to be the bigger person. It really is. It really is. But it is very rewarding. It's very rewarding. Okay. And if, you know, if I were to tell you there will be a pot of gold at the end of the line, if you walk away being the bigger person and actually progressing and doing what you have to do in your own life, you know, a lot of people need that incentive. They need incentive. It's part of human nature. We need incentive to be motivated to do something, right? If you can understand, you know, where I'm at right now, when you get to this point, you'll see everything differently. You'll see everything differently. But it will take time. Healing takes time. Okay? You're going to go through a lot of different emotions. You're going to be going through triggers, you're going to be going through anxiety, you're going to be going through, you know, different forms of, because you're releasing. That's 40 years. That's 40 years. Okay? That's a lot that you have to release. Absolutely, Cicely. Absolutely. Never held a grudge for anything and wish the best for her. It's just so confusing to understand why. And so I can have inner peace. Well, sometimes you have to stop, take a breather, and you have to go within. You got to think of what the logical stance would be. Okay. You know, everybody has their reasons, their own reasons for doing the things they do. Okay. But it generally stems from somewhere. Just know that if you went into a relationship with someone and you did not, you know, listen, we're not all perfect. I'm sure we all have our flaws. We have our own issues we deal with, and our own, you know, our own shit that we probably brought to the table, and we take accountability for anything we do. But chances are, if you guys ever entered a relationship with someone who just has all of these traits, these characteristics, these people were like this before you met them. Okay? These people were like this before you met them. And there is just, I'm a firm believer, there's just something that they have to teach us. Whatever that lesson may be, there's something there that has to be taught. Okay? Why she did it, why she did what she did, you know, I wish I could give you a clear-cut answer to it. I could only give generalized because it really just boils down to trauma. That's really what it boils down to. You know, I couldn't say why my ex did what he did to me, but I could say that given, you know, everything I've learned, I understand. I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand. I understood why. I understood that it had nothing to do with me. As long as it had nothing to do with me, that's my take of it. You know what I'm saying? As long as I walked away saying, you know, if you can walk away from a situation knowing that you did not do anything to warrant any of that, okay? You did not abuse them. You did not, you know, put your hands on them. You didn't tear them down. You didn't try to strip them. You didn't try to emasculate them. You didn't try to do anything but love them, be there for them, try to commit to them, try to contribute to the relationship. If you did not do anything remotely abusive towards someone to be reactive to your abuse, rather they were just projecting onto you because you were the closest thing that they had as a form of a punching bag. At the end of the day, you already know your answer. You know why they did it. You know why she did it. And I think it's just the matter of computing it like really seeping in, because it's still hard to believe. Everything that happened is still hard to believe, and I get it. But just remember, you didn't abuse her, you know. And I can't speak for everyone, you know, because I don't know how your relationships went. I wasn't there. Okay. But if you did not abuse them, if you did not abuse another individual because of your trauma, rather you just pretty much you try to, for lack of a better word, save them. I don't know, save them from themselves, save them from, you know, their demons, save them from wherever it was they were running from, whatever the case may be. Then you already know your answers to why it happened. It's just what matters most is that it had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with you. And it sucks. And it's unfair. And it's just, you know, it's really sad. But you learn from it. You learn from it and you say, you know what? I done checked off everything on my checklist, and nothing here indicates that I had done anything to warrant any of these behaviors. Therefore, this lets me know that you are just a really messed up individual who needs help. And I can only hope and pray to God that you get it, because you're going to end up doing all of this to someone else who is not going to be very, very nice with their response. And let them be. Let them be and let them figure it out. Yeah. And Cicely, codependency is, it's a lot more common than people think. Okay. It's a lot more common than people think. And so, as long as, first of all, codependency is a trauma. That is a trauma too. Okay. Being codependent is a trauma. You know, if you have to be codependent on someone else financially, emotionally, with, if you should be self-sufficient in life. You should be self-sufficient. You should be able to, still stand tall and still stand firm, whether someone is in your life, if they decide to leave, you're still standing tall. You're still standing firm. I learned that I was codependent because it was crazy. After everything happened and after everything was said to me, anybody in their right mind would have just cut it off. Would have just been like, oh no. This was, I found myself pushing, poking, and prodding because it did not seem right. It didn't seem right. It just didn't seem right. I didn't think I did anything wrong. I didn't think I did anything to, but the person, here's the thing. The person tried to make it seem as if it was more me than take accountability for what they had done. And that was the part that got me mad, because I can't listen. As much as I can love someone and I can appreciate someone, people are like the seasons, they do change. People change, feelings change, and that's just the way it is. And it's not very easy to take that. It's not easy to take someone that you love, someone that you care about, take them telling you, I don't want to be with you, whatever the case may be. It's hurtful, it's painful. But when you're trying to gain clarity as to the whys, as to the whos, or what have you, when you're trying to, hold on a second. I saw that message, Amanda. Just let me know what it was. When you're trying to gain clarity to to a situation, you're trying to understand, because everybody wants clarity. When someone tells you it's more you, and don't really take accountability for anything that they have done to contribute to the failure of the relationship, because it's like, well, I respected you, I loved you, I cared about you, I put your needs first, I took care of you the best way I could, I did all of these things. If you tell me you're not happy and you are pretty much pushing it in the direction of, I'm not happy because of you, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. That is letting me know that you are not happy because of you, not because of me. Okay. And the mere fact that I was propositioned, as far as, well, I wasn't even propositioned. I was told, if you can't take my friendship, then I don't know what to tell you. And and that for me was like, you just told me this, like we just broke up. But the one thing that was said to me that I will say is probably the biggest reason why I decided to cut, well, one of the biggest reasons I decided to cut off just any kind of connection whatsoever. One of was when the person asked me, and this again, it's seared. It's seared on my brain. It's seared. It's seared to the point where it's like it's tattooed on my brain. where I was asked if I want the person to be with me out of pity. I don't know how people would take that. Like, I don't know how you guys would have taken that. But that to me just let me know that, yeah, no, no. That let me know that not only are you demoting me as an individual, you're demoting everything that I have. I mean, to sit there and say out of pity, like, at that time I didn't realize who I was. I didn't realize who I was. Okay, that little voice wasn't in my head. The pain was ringing out of my ears. You know, the hurtful things that were being said were, those were the things that were ringing in my ears. And that right there was like, that made me feel so low. It made me feel so degraded. It made me feel just so beneath myself. Like, I could not believe someone told me that. I've never been told something like that, especially considering the fact that and it let me know that that person didn't value me. They didn't value my loyalty. They didn't value my respect. They didn't value my feelings. You know, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who who are probably told worse, way worse. But that for me was, it's like, not for nothing, no offense. And I'm not, trying to belittle anyone, or, but I mean, we'll call a spade a spade. But any man, ladies, any man who treats you like that, it goes to show either A, they learn the bad behaviors from, it could be the parents. But at the end of the day, when you have a man who will talk to you any kind of way, like be really nasty, it lets me know that their relationship with their mother, it's constrained. It's a constrained relationship, because any mother, a respecting mother, a good, decent mother, a mother who, would raise her children to do better and be better, would not put up with something like that. They wouldn't. But when I heard that, it was like, I just kind of, I got numb for a second. I was really numb to hear something like that. When, to ask me that's what let me know that his ego was being stroked. Afterwards. That's when I learned afterwards. I didn't know about narcissism or anything like that at that time, because I wasn't even thinking about it. But when I was going through the motions and learning, that's probably what, because, considering how things happened with, this other person in his past, that's probably what she did to him as well. Made him feel this small, and, made him feel like, well, I'm God's gift to men, so I'm going to talk to you like you're shit. And he probably figured that, well, you know what? Someone did it to me, I could do it to you. But yeah, at that time, I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about, I was just like, wow, I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of his mouth. Like, I never treated you with any disrespect. I never treated you with disrespect. And this is how you would talk to me. This is how you would treat me. And the different things that happened afterwards, were pretty much, it etched it in stone for me. So, which is why now, that the voice came to me eventually. It came to me eventually. And it was that voice that was like, do you know who the hell you are? Do you know that there are good men out there who would love you and appreciate what you have to offer? Do you know that there are men who would actually love you and your son equally, and be just overjoyed to have a relationship with you, because you are the way, and the way I am? I'm just one who can't be an abuser. And I can't be like the people who abused me verbally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, sexually. I can't be like that. I cannot be abusive towards other people. I can't see myself being a monster, and I won't start now. I won't. Well, Erica, I can't believe it, but I didn't think I would do half the things I did for someone like them. You know, you can't, Cicely, you sometimes you can't help who you fall in love with. You can't help it. And you're flowing with it. So you find yourself doing things that it just feels right to you. It feels right to you. But if someone doesn't appreciate it, then it's just, you just got to basically say to yourself, you don't appreciate, this person doesn't appreciate me or what I have to offer, then I just got to go my own way. I just got to go my own way. Listen, if you're leaving for yourself because the person didn't appreciate you, the person didn't value you, the person didn't appreciate what you had to contribute to the relationship, there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you're leaving a situation because you're getting validation or you're getting your ego stroked somewhere else, that's codependency. That is, I'm not even going to put narcissism. It's codependency. It's, what makes it narcissistic is the selfishness during the relationship, the arrogance, the self-importance, the mere fact that you can put someone else down and you can really like berate them. You're literally chastising them, in some cases castrating them, and they didn't do anything to warrant those behaviors. This is why I do what I do, guys, because too many people get away with this shit. And it's like, and you have people that are stuck. You have people that sit there, hurting themselves, crying, in depression, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, because they don't realize the kind of power they have. You have power. You just have to know how to use it. Okay? You have something that they wish they had. And it kills them that they don't have it because you can just do it so effortlessly. They have to wear masks. They have to, portray themselves as something that they're not, because that's the only way they're going to actually feel some form of normality, because, well, portray more normality, I should say. They're very, yes, Dip. You know what they are? They're duplicitous. Okay, duplicity. It's another word for treacherous, and they have the manageability of shifting, shape shifting from being one person to another in a split second. Some people might even think they're schizoids, or they got multiple personality disorder. It's just a matter of, I just feel such self-loathing, and I feel like I can't, they don't have what it takes to be the kind of people that you are. Okay. I learned that people in my past, the hurtful, deceitful, mischievous, the just the type of people that are opportunistic. I can't stand opportunists. I cannot stand them. I don't use the word hate, but I cannot stand them. I really can't stand them. Someone who's an opportunist is someone who will stoop to any level to run over anyone's toes, to hurt anybody that they have to hurt just to get what they want. They're so selfish. They're very selfish people. And the only way someone, when it comes to me and my group, me and my circle, me and my personal space, the only way someone who could be a manipulator in my group is if I'm not aware of it. But the minute I start seeing signs, the minute I start seeing that the person does not sit right with my spirit, they're out. No hesitation, no warning, they're out. I can't be around people like that. I cannot be around people. I can't. Hold on one second. I want to make sure. Hi, Erica. Question. I was wondering if I ordered a turkey dinner from Safeway and sent it to my ex's house and had it delivered, would that be breaking no contact with it? Yes, it would, Butch. It would be breaking no contact. Any kind of contact would be breaking no contact. That would be breaking. Yes, it would. My ex spat on my living room floor 3 times in a drunken stupor with the following statement: I could be with anyone. I thought I was hallucinating. That's that ego. That's that ego. It's that, they do that to make you, it's like that form of triangulation. Triangulation, it's a common thing. They will do things, they will say things, they will create things to make you feel like you have to compete. You have to compete for them. You have to prove to them why they should be in your life. You have to prove to them why should I continue to embrace you? You know what I'm saying? Like you got, and you don't have to do shit. You don't. Okay? You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, let alone a narcissist. You don't. Okay? Don't give 90% to anyone unless they're showing you 90% at the table. That's the way I see it. So if they're only giving you 10%, give them 10. Give them 10. Don't bend over backwards. Don't kill yourself trying to please people and satisfy people. People who will end up not appreciating it. I say don't do it. I say be selfish with yourself until otherwise. It's sad, but that's the way it has to be. You have to be on guard. You have to be on guard. And until someone can prove to you that they are worthy of your time, of your love, of your attention, of your affection, and it just makes no sense because go giving it out willy-nilly. That's an open door to taking advantage. That's how people take advantage of you. And it makes, people can perceive that. They'll perceive your giving the attention, the validation, the emotions, the vulnerability. They perceive that as desperation. Okay? Because they don't know how to be as easy flowing with it. They perceive what you do as a form of desperation. I was going through the motions. That man looked at me like I was desperate. I'm so desperate to be in a relationship that I would be willing to allow him to disrespect me and berate me and degrade me, when I'm looking at it as I love this person so much. I would do anything I need to do to make them happy and see to it that they see me for the person that I truly am and not who they're perceiving me to be. Two totally different thoughts, right? I was looked at as a desperate person, and I took on that projection, and I went into depression. I contemplated suicide. I was so just emotionally, mentally, just physically anxious. And I almost lost my life because of it. All of this for someone who, when I look back, who was dilly dallying with his ex, talking to different people, partying, drinking, hanging out, doing whatever, okay, drove past me, drove past me one night, okay, laughing his ass off, not giving a damn about me, not giving a damn about how I felt. And I almost lost my life. I went through anxiety. I went through withdrawals. I went through emotional and mental pain. Let me tell you something. I don't feel fucking sorry for the position I'm in now because it took me to get to where I'm at now. Okay? People like to laugh first and then cry later. Okay? People like to laugh first and then cry later. I'm not one of those people. I go through the pain. I go through the motions. I go through it all first because I know when I'm done healing, they're going to wish that I cared. Those tables always turn, guys. Don't ever forget that. Those tables will always turn. So at the end of the day, cry first. Go through your pain. Get through the motions. Go through your triggers. Feel it out. Write it out. Go through it. Because when you're done, it will all be rewarding. Trust me. I can guarantee you on it. I can guarantee you on it. Yeah, I was told she had 50 men on her friends list and she could have anyone she wanted, that I should be lucky she was around. That's triangulation, Ken. That was just a way to make you feel jealous, and it was a way to make you feel like you had to compete. You had to step up your game. You had to do more. You had to give her more. That's just, listen, women are, listen to me carefully, guys. And you know, I'm a very good judge of character when it comes to women. Okay? I am a very good judge of character. I can tell you within the first few minutes of meeting someone if they're a phony or if they're a twat. Okay? I'm gonna tell you straight up. And at the end of the day, certain females, you know, when they just don't sit right with me, when I just feel a certain type of vibe that it's like something about this person does not feel right, I will tell you. I have brothers, okay? I have brothers, and growing up I always told my brothers, you have to learn how to discern women, because women get away with a lot of shit, especially these little devious females. These little females who are out to just get what they can from you, take out of your pockets, take out of your mouth, whatever the case may be. You have to discern these females. Okay? I learned to discern females better because I got so sick and tired of paying for the choices that these types of females make. Because it just so happens that the guys that I ended up with were the kind of guys who dated these kinds of females who were abusive, emasculating, liars, manipulative, opportunists, always went, you know, and cheated and did whatever they did to them, you know, and not for nothing, no offense, you know, if you guys, some of you guys may have probably gone back to the same female who had done these things for you. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? It looks so, I'm trying to use the right word for it. When you're dealing with these types of females, and they are the kind of females that know they can get away with things, that know they can do certain things just to, you know, get what they can out of you, you got to really, you have to really understand something, okay? They lose more and more respect for you each and every time you go back. They lose more and more respect for you, okay? Which is why it gets worse each and every time you go back, okay? They do not respect you. They never respected you, but it's just kind of like, this is 0 and this is like negative 500. They go above and beyond that. That's why it does not get any better if or when you decide to go back. It doesn't get any better. And that is why I try telling men, you know, I really try helping you guys out. I try telling you guys, you need to stay away from females like this. Females who are narcissistic, females who are sociopathic, females who are psychopathic. They have ways of manipulating you to the point that they can get you to commit a crime if they wanted to. Okay? They can get you to commit a crime. It'll be all their fault because they done planned up the whole thing. They conjured up the whole thing, but it'll be at your hands. Be careful. Yes, Stella, after abuse, you pick up on narcs and fake people. And I've always had this thing. I never really grew up with a lot of female friends. I did not grow up with a lot of female friends. I, it was just something that, I don't know, I just didn't have a lot of female friends. Females felt, I don't want to say they felt intimidated by me because there was no reason for it. But women just, a lot of women just try to compete with each other too much. And it's because of that, I just try to avoid the drama. I try to avoid the drama. I don't do competition. I don't try to compete with other women. You know, I like to help empower other women who are, but let me tell you something straight up. I will never break bread with a female who looks to gain off of someone else's failures. That's never going to happen. I'm never going to do that. Okay? I am never going to do that. I don't mess with females that are like that. I don't ever want to be around females that are like that. And quite frankly, you know, females who sit there emasculating and hurting and lying and manipulating people, and then they want to cry victim. Listen, I'll be quick to expose females like that. I'll be quick to, because it's to me, it's like, it's because of females like this, whether they be mothers, whether they be ex-girlfriends, wives, what have you, I got to deal with the bullshit that it comes with. No, I'm good. I'm good. And it's the same thing for you men. It's because of men that are like this, who treat women like, you know, who abuse women narcissistically, domestically, whatever. You got to deal with the nonsense of her past. It's like, no, now it's to the point that when you go on dates, you got to ask them, have you healed your traumas? Have you ever been to any form of therapy? If they tell you no, all right, well, it was nice meeting you. Have a nice day. Have a nice life. You gotta start asking the right questions too. Start asking the right questions, because it's like, what's the point? What's the point? Are you dating to date, or are you dating to have a future with someone? You know, you just got to be very, very careful with these people, guys. Gee, he was so sick. It felt more brazen, more promiscuous. Was it promiscuous or pernicious? Nefarious than any mental health diagnosis I've ever treated. Oh, okay. I'm reading it. It's about that time. My lashes are getting in my way. It's just a part. It's like a certain, I don't know what it is. It's a particular moment. It's a certain, listen, guys, these people walk with spirits, man. They walk with spirits. I mean, if you don't believe in spiritual stuff, that's fine. I completely respect that. But they walk with spirits, dude. Because listen, I've had encounters. This is how I know. I know when they say, you know, walk by faith, not by sight. But when I have encounters with spirits, when I have encounters with, you know, with forces that are picking at me and poking at me, and you know, I've come into contact with spirits, and it's just a part of me that I tried to block off for many years because I didn't want to deal with it, but I guess I have no choice. And hi, how are ya? Yeah, I can't be around if people walking with some dark demons. I just can't do it. I can't do it, you know. And like I said, that don't fall asleep to witchcraft. Don't fall asleep to, you know, to how people do black magic and all this kind of stuff, because it's real. It is real. Whether people want to believe it or not, it is real. Okay. I've come face to face with a spirit. I have been, you know, I have been marked up by it. It's real. Trust me, it's real. Okay. I remember one time I was laying down on an air mattress on my stomach. My feet were dangling off the air mattress. And I'm just on my computer, just, you know, typing away, going on YouTube, looking at videos. And I literally felt like someone stepped on the air mattress and then pulled their foot off. They stepped on the air mattress and pulled their foot off. And you know when you step on an air mattress and it goes like, has like a pop sound almost? Man, yeah, Cicely, I'm gonna start doing some more videos again. It's been a little hectic with work, but I'll definitely start doing more videos again. But yeah, these people walk with, you know, with very, very just deep, dark spirits, and it's just, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm like, no, listen, if you walk with demons, whether they be your own demons or someone else's demons, does not matter. Keep them away from me. I don't want nothing to do with it. Got nothing to do with me. They're not welcome in my life, in my home. They're not welcome around me. I'm not getting involved in that. But there were a few other things I wanted to touch, but we'll probably do that. We'll do that next week. In the meantime, I'm gonna write a list of a few videos that I wanna start working on, start getting back into making the videos again for you guys. And we're gonna be doing, like I said, we're gonna be trying different things for 2022, and hopefully, you know, we'll get some more people in. We'll get some new people. Well, it's kind of bittersweet in that we get new people to help make them, help make them aware, but we don't really want to have new people because we don't want new victims. But you know, you can't stop it from happening, right? All we could do is just try to help, you know, each person that comes along. Thank you, Cicely. Thank you. I'll definitely get working on some more videos, and now that things are kind of calming down with work, I will definitely have a little more time to do some more stuff. And guys, you know, if you got questions, if you need help with anything, like I always tell you, you know where to find me. All right. You can catch me on Thursday. Next Thursday, I'll be on TikTok Live, and then Friday back here. Hopefully, I'll have a video out by next week for you guys. And just a lot of different things we're going to be working on. All right. So what other stuff I didn't get to mention in today's live, we'll talk about it next week. And guys, just, you know, remember, protect your energy, protect your sacred space. Okay. If you're still no contact, stay no contact. Okay. I know it's hard, but you're doing an awesome job. Continue with the no contact. Continue focusing on you, your mental health, your self-love. Okay. Continue to appreciate yourself. Say those affirmations. Affirmations work. They're very good. Continuously saying, write them on little cards and put them around your house. So each and every time you pass one, you remind yourself. Okay. If we could ever internalize the, you know, hurtful stuff that, you know, someone who has been traumatized, abused, projects onto us, we can internalize the beautiful things that we feel about ourselves. Okay. So continue with that. Continue doing it. Next year, I'm telling you, the beginning of the year, I'm going to have a lot of different things going on, but I definitely want to work on helping everybody progress even further. Okay. So thank you again, guys, for joining me tonight. What was I going to say? Oh my gosh. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been up since 6:30. So, but always a pleasure being here with you guys. Always my pleasure talking to you all. You guys know that you are the bestest. So yeah, we'll work on some videos, and I will work on some more things of topics of discussion that we could talk about next week. If you have any questions, if you have any type of requests, you can leave a comment in the comment section, or you can send me an email, or you can shoot me a message on Instagram if it's, you know, if it's of severe importance. And I guess that's pretty much it for now. So guys, have a great night. Have a beautiful weekend. Enjoy having you here always. Love, peace, all that good stuff, blessings, God's protection. You guys know how it goes. Continue the course, and I will see you all next week. All right. Love you guys. Bye.